Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Stargirl Season 1, Episode 3, Icicle. This is a very good, emotional, sad episode that deals with death on two different levels. And sadly, they make you want to try to sympathize with the villain, but in an evil kind of way. I was not expecting that and stuff. But yes, it gives a bit of an origin story and more of a motivation to that of the main villain, Icicle, Jordan. And so, just to let you know, this version of Icicle Senior, he is a metahuman, which in the comics he was not. Only his son was the metahuman. So they're trying to update it because they don't want too much of an old-fashioned type thing. But sometimes old-fashioned is cool, but sometimes you gotta update. You know what I'm saying? And so this pretty much piggybacks off of episode 2, where Brainwave is now in the hospital and everything. And Courtney, as she's getting ready for school, Courtney is being Courtney. She's bossing Pat around, talking about I can't go to school. You need to drive me around town so we can find more of the ISA and everything like that. And he's all like, no, they're done. They moved on. They're not in the town no more and everything. And you're going to school. And so she's being her stubborn little cute little self. And so she feels as though there are still more of them out there, but he doesn't want to believe it. He just wants to live his life as a normal life. It is kind of interesting that in this series, all of the villains, once they defeated their superhero counterparts or whatever, or not counterpart, but the superhero people and stuff, they decided, hey, you know what, let's put up the costumes and just live a normal life and have a family. And it's kind of odd and weird. They didn't want to keep on being evil and try to take over the world and stuff. But for the sad backstory, we do find out what happened to Icicle Jordan. We see him and his young son 8 years ago, and they're going to pay their last respects to that of Jordan's wife, Cameron's mother. She is dying of some illness and stuff. And so as she's talking to her son, they're saying their goodbyes or whatever, then she starts to kind of spaz out a little bit. And then he gets freaked out and runs. Then the husband goes up to her and he tells her something. She's like, no, finish your work. And for the people who hurt me, make them pay, destroy them. I'm like, destroy them? Is this Power Rangers? Just say kill. But yeah, apparently something happened to her and now she's dying. So now he is on this mission to make America a better place and a safer place, as they like to say. So it kind of went into that realm of politics and everything with the slogan and stuff. And so when we see him in the present day, he is very pissed and upset at the mayor. The mayor is the former magician dude for the ISA. I forget his name. Maybe it's Abracadabra, maybe it's not. I can't remember. But anyway, he's pissed at him. I mean, he is furious with him and stuff. And so he's all like, I left you in charge when I left and everything. And how can you let this happen? And he tells him, he did everything he was supposed to do. Like when Brainwave got hurt by Courtney and them, he changed his clothes. So he put him off at the hospital. He bribed and paid off some cops and this and that, And so he tells him, we look after our own and how, there's I guess a new Starman out, but he's like, no, Brainwave told me it's a girl and stuff. And so he tells him straight up that, what did he tell him? It was something. God, oh, I remember talking about how When the people who gave those toxins to his wife, he tracked down every single last one of them and killed them and everything. And like he did, like it just basically he's just reprimanding him, talking about like grow a pair and do what you have to do, and and like look after like everybody, make sure nobody gets hurt and stuff like that. And he's all like, I look after my son, blah blah blah, and I look after everybody else's and stuff like that. And so he leaves because he's going to take care of some business. And we all know what that is. He's now looking for Courtney, trying to find whoever this girl is and stuff. Because he is extremely out for revenge. And he doesn't want nobody to get in his way of making America like a safer place. And so Courtney, when she's at school, she sees Yolanda being like picked on by Cindy, and she, gets all up in like Cindy's like face, and Yolanda doesn't want that because Yolanda just is all like, just leave her alone. You'll make things worse because you know how bullies are. So it's like you never know really what to do because it's kind of like if you stand up for somebody, then they get worried that there's gonna be repercussions, and things are just gonna get like way worse. So Yolanda is just like regressing and everything. She's buying into fear and scrutiny and stuff. So then somebody writes the word slut on like her locker because of the new pictures and stuff. And so somebody had painted over that with flowers, but Courtney and them don't know who did it yet. So when Courtney's in class, she sees that it was Cameron, Icicle like Junior or whatever. And so Icicle Junior Cameron, he's actually pretty nice. There's a kid named Joey, I believe his name is, and he's doing magic tricks because his dad is the magician dude. And so like he's playing a card trick with that of like, Courtney, and the whole guess the card thing, and he guesses wrong, but she just lies to make him happy, and Cameron can see that and stuff. And it's like really cool because like Joey's like really fun and like he's a nice person. And it's weird because his dad used to be a supervillain, but his dad has literally turned his life completely around. Well, his dad doesn't want to do none of that bad stuff anymore. He's just with his family. And that's just something odd I never really thought about when it comes to supervillains. You never really think about them having like family and kids because you never really see that in movies and stuff. They're mostly just there to be bad, but they do have families. And it's still just odd how they all just went about their normal ways after they got through killing the JSA and stuff. So when Courtney's just like walking around in like the field and everything, she gets like this cold breeze on her. And she looks down and the whole field is covered in ice, but in the shape of a star. So she knows who that is. And so Pat, beforehand, he had went to the hospital to check on Brainwave, and the medic in there said like, cause he asked like, what was he wearing when he came in? And so when the lady reveals he was wearing his lab coat, then he knows the dude had help and everything. But he doesn't want to tell Courtney because he doesn't want her running all about. And so she tells him about the whole cold breeze and like the whole star-shaped ice thing and stuff like that. So when it comes to her mom actually works for that of Jordan. And so he's just, he kind of like takes a little bit of a liking to her and everything. And she's moving on up in like, her position and stuff. And so, they're cramming some stuff with the brother. He gets in trouble at school. So he has to take a paper route and stuff. And so, like, Courtney, after telling Pat, about the whole Ice Star thing, they go to investigate. Now, I love the scenes that they do with this. The scenes are like her flying on Stripe. It was amazing. The CGI was great. I missed this so much in season 2. They never really did this anymore in season 2. It's such good CGI. You really think they're flying in the air and stuff. And it's a nice close-up shot of her. She's on stripe. The wind is blowing in her hair. Though you see like the clouds moving behind her. It just looks real. And so when they go down to like investigate and everything, all of a sudden Icicle is now on the attack. He was like lying and waiting in like, the forest and everything. I don't believe he knows who she is, but it's ironic that the moment he meets her mom and see a picture of her, then all of a sudden she got that little ice message in like the ground, but he would have taken her out then and there. But anyway, so, when Pat told her earlier that the staff is the only thing that can go up against like Icicle and everything, she's hoping that it will. Only problem is she's still new to using the thing because it's only the third episode. So he takes Pat out real fast by freezing up his mech machine. So she goes running after him. And so Icicle's throwing like ice bolts left and right, and it freezes her staff. I forget. So when he goes to like attack her, the CGI on his face is pretty good. It does look like a TV budget CGI, but it is pretty good. It's basically like Iceman from the Fox X-Men show, X-Men movies and everything. They CGI his face looking like ice and stuff. I wish they would have went more practical, but like I said before, it does look like him. So they did like a really good job with the CGI on that. So he's going to like, give the final blow to her and everything. And then in comes a giant flying fist from Pat, Mech Machine. And so it sends him flying onto a bridge. She later like, can see him on the bridge and stuff. And then all of a sudden, he makes like the ice form on the bridge so it can mess with the oncoming vehicles. One of the oncoming vehicles is a bus. The CGI on the bus is terrible when it's like slipping and sliding. That's like the only bad CGI shot in this entire episode. So Pat like busts out the ice. He's flying towards like the bridge and he saves the bus. But then he noticed that the kids can see him and everything. Not him, but Stripe's face. So Courtney uses her staff to illuminate the sky and make it so bright that it blinds like the kids and they can't see him and stuff. He should have stayed on the bridge because Icicle, as evil as he is, I was not expecting this. So Joey was on the bus and he gets off along. Beth is also on the bus too. So Joey gets off and then all of a sudden Icicle can see that. So he blows some wind towards Joey so that his cars will fly away, hoping that Joey will run after them. And he does. An oncoming truck is coming. And all you can see is the slow motion of the truck. And then it cuts off screen to Courtney. He has died. And it's like, dude, he was that pissed at the magician dude that he was willing to kill that dude's son. And so then we get this touching scene from the magician's dude like house. You hear music playing, you hear the broadcaster on the news, you see the mother, then it cuts to that of the magician dude. And it's just this heart-wrenching music. It just makes you so sad inside. And he's distraught. The wife is distraught. And because she don't know who has died yet. And so when she sees her husband looking all sad, she breaks down and hollers and everything. And it's such a raw, emotional scene. And then you see him just running towards a vault. And then he opens it up and he takes out his wand. And she's all like, no, no. And he just like, he just like bypasses her and just like busts through like the door and everything. Because she knows that he will be no match for that of Icicle and stuff. Because Icicle is one of the main people who killed all the members of the JSA. So when he arrives at the dude's house, he's all like, tell me like this was like an accident and everything. And all of a sudden he's about to go Lord Voldemort on that dude, and he whips out his wand and he charges it up. But then Icicle takes him out in mere seconds in a very chilling and disturbing kind of way. He just touches the wand, and then he touches like the magician dude, and he just slowly freezes to death. And the noise of the ice sounds so disturbing when you listen to it. So his parents all like, they'll clean it up. And the wife is just sitting on the steps of the house, the magician dude, as she's listening to the news talking about how the mayor had a heart attack because of the death of his son. She knows what happened, which I already told you about when I reviewed the Wildcat episode. Courtney is upset. She's almost in tears talking to Pat about how sweet Joey was and how she can't believe this would happen and stuff. Now she knows just how evil this man is. And she still thinks he murdered her dad because she still thinks Starman's the dad. And so in a way, Pat takes her somewhere. And once again, it's another beautiful CGI scene where she's flying on his back, but she's wearing her civilian clothes. And she's so sad, and it's at night. And it's just as beautiful as it was in the day when she was in costume. And he takes her to the headquarters of JSA. And, you know, we get to see like a lot of the heroes' portraits and stuff, and a lot of their gear. Now we have the Flash, the old school Jay Garrett one, and you can't really see his face that well, but he's wearing his old school comic book costume from the comics. Of course, now we know in season 2 they just used the dude from the 90s Flash show, and the one who's also on the current Flash show, who plays like another version of like Jay Garrett and stuff, Barry's dad. And they put him in his new modified costume from the Flash show, which really pissed me off because I was hoping they would put him something similar to what that picture was in, you know, but they didn't. So anyway, we're looking at all like the equipment that some of the people get to use, and they show Mr. Midnight's owl and the hoodie and everything, and he's still in the building, and it's kind of like, who takes care of him, who feeds him? And we haven't seen him since that one episode. So what happened to him? Because in season 2 I don't think the owl even showed up. So and so Pat is telling her like, you know, you need to stop this whole hero thing. There is no more Stargirl, there is no more like Stripe and everything, because she wants to form a team, and he doesn't want no part of none of that no more, even though he knows Icicle is around. But being Courtney will do what Courtney does best, and that's being like defiant and stubborn. So she goes back in the middle of the night and she steals like all the stuff, because she's gonna start recruiting new people. It's so funny because when she was with Pat, she was about to touch the pin of Thunderbolt, and he's all like, don't touch the pin and everything. It's too powerful. So when she stole it, like, it was so like a cute little moment. She's like hesitating to touch it and everything. And then you hear him like giggle and stuff when she touches him. And so, of course, he showed up in season 2, but now he's about to be voiced by Seth Green in season 3, which is kind of going to be weird because they don't sound nothing alike. I remember when Seth Green took over for Jason Biggs in Ninja Turtles, and their voices were like night and day. It was just completely different because, you know, Seth Green's voice is like roughly and scratchy and stuff. But yeah, this was a really good emotional episode. It was so sad to see like Joey die, because he was actually like one of the nicest villain kids and stuff. When we get to see the other villain kids, they are terrible. And you know, it was some great CGI. It was a nice little skirmish and everything. And it was just an all around good episode. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.